Welcome in. Don't have much to say. Episode 23. BBL Sports Talk, the Big Boys League. Didn't think we'd be doing this episode on January 22nd, but we are. It's going to be a vent session of an episode. We're going to talk about the Lions and what does the loss mean. So, all right, here we go. This is going to be, it's not going to be a fun episode, but it's going to be a little vent session. The three of us haven't had a chance to get together and really talk since Saturday. And for all of our listeners out there, we know the majority of you are Lions fans and have been following along. But it's been a rough week. It's been a rough 4 days for us, 5 days. The Lions lose at home to the Commanders. Ben Johnson to the Bears. Aaron Glenn to the Jets. Terrell Williams to the Patriots. Hank Fraley probably to the Seahawks. And supposedly Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn are both taking Lions staffers with them to their new roles. So a lot to get into. I would ask how you guys are doing, but I'm guessing it's not too good. But are you guys at least feeling a little better since Saturday?
No. I think as time goes on, it hurts more.
Yeah.
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, and we'll fly through the first couple segments of this so we can get into the Lions talk, and we're just going to, again, just open it up. This is a sad episode, guys. This is, again, we're here. It's January 22nd, and we're talking off-season moves and who we're going to bring in for coach instead of talking about and breaking down the game, the NFC Championship this week, which it hurts. It's like a dagger to the chest. So we'll get to all that in a second. Jet, why don't you lift our spirits a little bit? I know you've got a hot take, listener-submitted hot take that we're going to break down really quick. So come with something good. What do you got for us?
Yeah, this listener has an interesting take. I wonder who they're a fan of. They said that it's more fun to be a shitty team and beat good teams and maybe have a chance to win one playoff team than to be the number one team and to lose in the divisional round.
What a sorry-ass take. Whoever that is a loser. I'm sorry. That's like getting a taste of being good one time, not having it going your way, and then you're going to say that? I'm grumpy, so that's dumb. We have no idea how to be good. This fan base, and maybe they're not talking about the Lions. The Lions our fan base has no idea how to be good. Someone's saying this sucks so bad I'd rather be bad and like whatever.
Okay. I'm going to try to be empathetic a little bit with the listener here. I had more fun last year.
A lot more fun.
I had a lot more fun when we won 2 playoff games and had nothing to lose and we were playing with house money as like massive underdogs in the NFC Championship in San Fran. That was a lot of fun. And we'll get to it later. It's obviously it's a different feeling.
I'm going to agree with the listener from the standpoint of saying I don't think it's ever fun being double-digit favorites.
No. I'll agree with that.
The Jags game, Titans game, like blowouts, but those are games you're expected to win. And so, like, it's a lose-lose scenario unless, you score 50 and hit a same-game parlay. There's really not a whole lot in it for the fan base. Yeah.
Which we all did. But, no, I mean, here's the thing. There's two sides to this, right? I can agree, like, yeah, I had a lot more fun on the playoff run last year, but that's because we won 2 playoff games and the expectations weren't as high. But at the same time, I want my team to be the number 1 seed and win 15 games and have those expectations because that means we've got a shot at the Super Bowl. So, no, would I rather always be the underdog and be the be a bad team that overperforms. No. I would rather win 15 games, be the 1 seed. I just want my team to show up.
Yeah.
All right. Like I said, rapid fire through this so we can get to the vent session. It's kind of already started. But let's do who's who really quick. I can kick us off if you guys want me to.
I'll kick us off.
All right. Jet, kick us off on the who's who.
This whole podcast is going to be themed. I hope I'm not stealing yours, but I did want to get this in case that you did one. Is Ben Johnson the Matt Patricia of PJ Flex?
All right. There is a theme here because mine is very, very close.
Is Ben Johnson?
Go ahead, Stark. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, is Ben Johnson the Rod Marinelli of Mike McDaniels?
Oh my God!
I can explain. Rod Marinelli's a shit coach, worse in Lions history, record-wise. Mike McDaniel thinks he was some prodigy offensive mind that left some team to go be a head coach, and he's trash. That's mine. I hate Ben Johnson.
I like it. All right. I went in the same direction here. Is Ben Johnson the Adam Gase of Matt Eberflus's?
That's better because it fits the theme.
No, that was great. Okay. So our heads are all in the same place.
Yeah.
I like this.
I hate Ben
they're-
Johnson.
So, okay, we gotta let's break the game down first before we get to Ben Johnson. But we're gonna get to Ben Johnson. I promise. We're gonna get to Aaron Glenn. We're gonna get to some names that you guys should be watching for the OC, the DC. But we gotta start with the game, and we gotta start with the performance in the game. Obviously, 9.5-point favorites. We talked about it last week. Well, I guess it closed at 8.5, but 9.5, 8.5-point favorites. We talked last week. What were we nervous of? What could possibly go wrong in this game? And there were a couple points that we talked about. And the biggest point was Jared Goff, you got to take care of the football. He turned it over 4 times. We got to control time of possession and run the football. Jahmyr Gibbs gets 14 carries. And then I brought up Washington goes for it on 4th down more than any team in the league, more than the Lions. We got to find a way to get some stops on 4th down. They go 4 out of 5 on 4th downs, and we gift them the biggest 4th down of the game by having 12 men on the field on defense. So, Stark, you're going to kick us off today.
Okay. I was
What
there.
is the biggest, and you were there, you were at the game. What is the number one reason we lost that game? What do you attribute the number one factor to us losing that game? Was it coaching? Was it Jared Goff? Was it injuries on defense? Why did we lose that game?
I'm not going to stick it to a specific spot. I'll say it was one thing in particular, and that is decision making. From Jared Goff to Ben Johnson to 12 men on the field to not giving Gibbs more carries when he was gashing them. Just felt like there was so many, it felt like they were mentally not there. It felt like there were so many little mistakes that they usually don't do. And granted, I think Goff got hurt. I think he was concussed. He got rocked, which tell me how that's not a flag. And then I know this for a fact. Anytime he gets smoked, he comes in and he'll throw 5 picks. It happens. I swear to God, if you go to Houston, I remember him getting rocked in that game and then picks. Last year, I remember one of the games, I think it was Bears. He gets rocked and then he gets off his game a little bit. But for me, the dagger being there and the feeling it was such a roller coaster. J-Mo scores, the roof blew up, right? So Laporta scores. It was an awesome touchdown. Roof blew off that place. The air went out of the building when J-Mo threw that pick. That was the dagger. Everyone was like, what the hell just happened? And decision making. I don't understand how you give him the ball in that position, him of all people, and say, make a decision and throw a ball. when we need it. I won't get going on Ben Johnson right now, but he didn't have his best game plan. AG got shredded. Good riddance. Good riddance. Pisses me off. Good riddance. Go be bad head coaches. Get your paychecks. Ruin your reputations. And then come begging to come back. I think that'll happen.
All right, Jet. What do you pinpoint? What was the biggest factor in the loss this weekend?
100% coaching on the defensive side of the ball specifically. I mean, you can't say you're prepared in any way, shape, or form when a team puts up 45 points on you. Yeah. Commanders' defense isn't that great. We scored 31. I would have loved us to run the ball even more when we were down, just because keep their offense off the field and, wear their defense down so we can get a couple, longer drives put together and score when we have to. We threw 4 interceptions. And then I did see a lot of, I say we because the one that J-Mo threw and Goff threw 3, but I'm going to defend Ben Johnson a little bit here. What plays worked against them? Like, when you think about good plays, it was only trick plays.
No.
The J-Mo touchdown, 61 yards. The Amon-Ra shovel pass to Gibbs was another huge play. And then I think Montgomery threw one for like 20 yards. It felt like the only thing that was working was trick plays. So to be mad that one trick play out of 5 didn't work, I'm assuming J-Mo was told to throw that ball out of bounds. But 4 out of 5 trick plays work in a game. How often do you ever see fucking 5 trick plays ran in a game? I think he was going deep in his bag. I do not think that loss was on him, outside of maybe I would have liked to run the ball a little bit more.
Why?
But we were playing from behind. I would love to hear what you have to say, sir.
I just don't understand why they had to go deep in their bag against the Washington Commanders, whose defense wasn't good. Was Sewell hurt? Are we hurt? Are we banged up at the O-line? Early in the game, it's like 3rd and 3. Maybe not even 3rd. Maybe it was 2nd and 3. We're on their 14-yard line. It's up 7-3. And they kept throwing the ball, and then they get strip sacked, right? Run the ball. There was that one drive where Gibbs got every yard, and then they brought in Montgomery, he gets stuffed, and then they put Gibbs and he scores. Right? It was run, pass, run, and then they're already in the end zone. And I just think – I thought it should have been more simple, Joe. I think that's my problem with this game plan was, why – that defense isn't good. And they had to pull out 5 trick plays to score 31 points. We don't have to do that. And maybe I'm wrong, but maybe there was something we don't know about. But
to your defense, I think that all of this started happening after Goff got fucked up because granted, he threw an interception prior to getting fucked up. That's how he got fucked up because he ends up getting leveled on. Just get out of the way if you're him. But I would love to see his completions and attempts after getting hit because it was not good. He then proceeded to throw 2 more interceptions. And then Dan Campbell addressed the strip sack. I don't know if you saw that, but they had their man. Amon-Ra beat his guy and just fell on the route. And it would have been it would have for sure been like a 10-yard completion, if not a touchdown. But, yeah, it was a shitty game. It did feel like a roller coaster of emotions, even from my couch, just because, we did have huge plays. But our defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. It was so watching us on defense, and not to discredit Jaden Daniels. Stark, you were right about him. He's the man. He did not make he played mistake-free football and was just dropping balls on dimes. But I think that a lot of quarterbacks probably would have looked great against this defense. So I'm happy AG's gone. I'm sad Ben Johnson's gone. But, yeah, we'll get into that more later.
All right, I'm going to give you my take on the game, and I feel like I always end up here. I'm somewhere in between the two of you. I'm going to side with Jet here, where I put this on coaching, and I think what sucks so bad is Dan Campbell talked about this in his presser. Was it Monday? where, no disrespect to the Commanders, but watching the film, the Lions B game or C game, they walk out of there with a victory. I mean, they were the much better football team. And that, to me, boils down to coaching. You're the 1 seed. You have a home playoff game in the divisional round. You got the bye week. How are you not ready to go? And the defensive side of the ball, like Jet, you touched on it. I don't need to touch on it. But when Tom Brady is on the broadcast and he's in the second half and he's saying, I don't understand what Aaron Glenn's doing. He's tried the same thing the entirety of the first half. They gave up 31 points. Now he's without 3 of his dudes in the secondary, and he's running the same scheme. Jaden Daniels has seen it, and he's absolutely carved you apart. And you're not making any adjustments. So AG not making any adjustments in the second half, I'll never understand. And it's one of the reasons that we're going to get to it. I'm not too upset with him being gone. I am going to put some pressure on Ben Johnson. Because, so Jet, you talked about the trick plays and they worked. And you're right. I mean, he threw some trick plays out that were awesome. The J-Mo touchdown was great. But let's be real. The J-Mo touchdown is a super low-risk play. The pitch to David Montgomery, who then shovel passes it to Amon-Ra, really low-risk play. At that point in the game, down 10 points with 10 minutes left, we paid Jared Goff $200 million this offseason? That's a gotta-have-it drive. J-Mo just had intercourse with the end zone 10 minutes ago. And he said, yeah, well, let's have J-Mo throw the ball. Now, obviously no coach wanted him to actually throw that ball, but let me just ask you guys a quick question. It's a 2-part question. I'm
going to side with J-Mo.
In the last 10 years, for the first part of the question, in the last 10 years, have you ever seen the double reverse wide receiver pass work? Because I haven't. I can't tell you a time where I'm like, oh, yeah, that worked. Too many teams run it. After the Philly special in the Super Bowl, too many teams try to run those plays, and they never work.
We've done
they
it
never
this year.
work.
Amon-Ra threw a touchdown to Goff.
Okay, that's okay. That is the one. That is the one time you just gave me one time where that has worked in the last 10 years. Because when I think of that play, I can see it from my couch coming from a mile away. And when I see those plays, I swear I see more interceptions than I do completions. Like they never work.
Right.
The second part of that is, have you ever seen a wide receiver just go down or throw it out of bounds? I know they're coached to, but they're like, in their minds, I think this is their one opportunity to throw a pass in an NFL game, and they're just going to force it no matter what. I've never seen a wide receiver or a tight end, whoever it is that's throwing the pass. I've never seen them make the smart play and just throw it OB. So yeah. I can't kill J-Mo for that.
I think they need to, yeah. But I was going to say, I think it's on coaching to be like, reiterate prior to that play. If there is one man there were 3.
Yeah.
If there was one man there,
it was the most obvious pick.
Yeah.
I have another problem with the play, by the way. If you're the Washington Commanders defensive coordinator, I mean, there's a lot of weapons on that Lions offense to key in on, but if you're going to key in on one guy, it's Jahmyr Gibbs. If you're going to run that play, that double reverse pass, and try to get it down the field, why don't we try to get it to, like, Brock Wright?
Yeah,
Tim
that's
Patrick.
why it worked with Goff. That's why it worked with Goff when it went to Seattle.
Jahmyr Gibbs slips out of the backfield, and 3 defenders go with him because he's Jahmyr Gibbs.
I don't think. Who did he throw to? Gibbs.
Gibbs.
Yeah. I don't think that was the first read. I don't think that was where it was supposed to go. I think he made that decision on his own. I don't think Gibbs is ever expecting that to come to him. He watched the playback. He didn't. It was just such a bad throw that I don't think that was where the play was designed to go. But I could be wrong.
I think you're wrong. He's the only one downfield. Yeah.
Are you sure? I swear there were more guys downfield.
No, he's the only one downfield because he was triple covered. A linebacker dropped back, safety came over, and the corner was on him.
I don't blame J-Mo for that.
No,
he's J-Mo. We know him. We know what he's about.
And
You blame I don't know.
so now the one thing I'm going to push back, Jet, and we got into the trick plays there, but the one thing I'm going to push back on you is the Lions were averaging 13 yards a play. I mean, they were getting whatever they wanted. And for example, right before the JMO play, you just got Tim Patrick down the field for 35 yards. Like, you were getting whatever you wanted. On the ground, Jahmyr Gibbs was averaging 9 a pop on the ground. He gets 14 carries in the entirety of the game. The turning point of the game was this, though, and this is where it's really easy. And yeah, I know Amon-Ra slipped, and they would have had him, and it's really easy to kind of sit here in hindsight. But what frustrates me about the 3rd and 1 fumble is why even put Goff in that situation? You've marched down the field on the ground. Jahmyr Gibbs getting whatever he wanted. It's 3rd and 1. Here's my problem with it. If you're going to throw a pass there, fine. At least have the threat of a run in the backfield. Jahmyr Gibbs wasn't on the field. David Montgomery was. And David Montgomery was split out left as a receiver. Jared Goff is not a running threat. So now the defense can get into their pass rush and get after the quarterback. Glasgow gets beat. Amon-Ra slips, and now we've got a strip sack. And instead of a scenario where the Lions go up 14-3 and the roof is coming off of Ford Field and all the pressure in the world is now on Jaden Daniels to try to bring his team back, in 2 minutes, the Lions are now down 10-7. So to me, that was the turning point of the game, and I just hate that play call there. I hate it. And maybe I'm
it is
being
tough.
Grumpy.
I have a question. Who won the toss? Because I know that we received first, and we talked about this prior. I said I did not want to receive, because if we don't score, it could get ugly. And it didn't end up going like that, but I would have much rather gotten the ball. Oh, okay.
But I was at a bar at kickoff, and they did not have the audio on, so I couldn't hear. But I believe Washington won. That would be really interesting. I don't know. I actually don't know. And Stark was there, but I think he had to go away for a quick second. So we'll get his take on it when he's back. All right, Jet. The next question I got for you regarding this game, Joey. I'll go to you first on this, but this is my next question for you guys is: at what point in the game did reality set in that this game's over? The Lions are losing.
I don't know if you remember, but there was a Bears game last year where we were down 3 scores with like 5.5 left, and I swore it was going to be like that because the Bears kept scoring on us. And then Justin Fields did his little dance after he ran for a first down, and I'm like, if we can, yes, and I'm like, if we can just like lock in for these last 5 minutes, stop, score, punch him in the mouth, score again. I'm like, it's going to come down to one drive where we have to stop them, and then we've got a 2-minute drill, and we can score. And fuck, I'm trying to remember what happened. I think when we needed to stop them, I think Jaden Daniels threw that touch. Was it to touchdown to McLaurin? Second. Or there was a
deep ball to De'Ami Brown
that's what it was. Yes, the deep ball to De'Ami Brown, and I was like, okay, that those hopes are kind of dead. So I would say with like 3 minutes left, it was. I held on for a while because I don't know. I mean, we looked so good all season. Once again, we did score 31 points, so it wasn't like scoring wasn't there, but we couldn't stop anyone. So I don't know.
For me, it was 12 men on the field. So at that point in the game, at that point in the game, it's a 10-point game, and it's 4th and 2. Man, you've already stopped them once on 4th down. You know it's coming. And Jaden's going to run that ball. It's going to be a read option, and if you could just somebody make a play. You get the ball there down 10. There's time on the clock. Go down and score. You still have your 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. I was feeling good, honestly. I was feeling like we can get out of here. And And I was actually hoping that the Commanders wouldn't actually go for it, that they would try to draw the Lions offside and just kick it. Well,
Yeah.
who knows? We'll never know what the Commanders' plan was because they got up to the line and they could have been doing that, and we had 12 people on the field. And the moment they got a new set of downs at the 3-yard line, it was over.
It was over.
And I almost thought about shutting my TV off. The Bears game is the reason I didn't.
Before that? Do you remember the play before that?
The third down play.
Yes.
Is that where we stuffed? Was that the second down or the third down play where we tackled them for a loss?
That was second down. I believe third down play was Terry and Arnold making just the biggest tackle on, I think it was Zach Ertz.
Yes.
And as soon as that happened, I'm like, oh my God, this defense is playing with some life. Let's fucking go. And sure enough, I mean, the 12 men on the field was just devastating. And sitting at home, I thought it was a false start.
Burgos knew it right away. He knew it before the play even started.
I was excited, and then all of a sudden they said 12 men on the field, and I'm like, what?
So
just devastating.
Were you listening to the did you have the volume up on the broadcast? Because for 20 seconds, Tom Brady is yelling, timeout, timeout. You've got 12 on the field. Oh my gosh, call a timeout.
Yeah, we weren't really listening to it.
Yeah, so I knew. I mean, Brady was out of his mind that they didn't call a timeout there. Stark, I'm curious. At what point in the game did you lose hope and you knew it was over?
Thinking back, I think it was. I kept looking at Nick and I was like, "It's not over, is it?" And he was like, "No, it's not." And this was every time we went down by 10, you go into the third quarter, fourth quarter. I remember looking up at the clock, and there was 11:55. And I look at Nick, and I was like, this is so far from over. And then they threw that pick. And I just think that, for me, was the moment. Because 10 points is nothing for them. In the fourth quarter, the other moment was goes into a little bit of I made the prediction that was right. Jaden Daniels was going to be a problem. And the rookie quarterback thing was a lazy take for anyone to sit there and say, oh, he's a rookie. You haven't watched him play. You didn't watch him. So I tried to call into 97.1 that one day when they were saying, oh, sell your tickets for this game and make the money. You'll be able to go next week. Motherfuckers. Oops. I'm trying not to cuss as much. I'm going to make that open thing. But I think for me, going into the game, knowing that Jaden Daniels was a dog, and if they couldn't figure out a way to stop him, I mean, guys, he every single option, he was getting what he wanted. And I even think he could have gotten more sometimes. He would scramble to the corner, beat everyone on the outside, and then get the first down and go right out of bounds. It was like clockwork. And I don't know. Watching the defense get gashed in person, I didn't even think that 12-man on the field was the biggest deal because guess what? They probably would have gotten it. And then it would have been the same situation. I think there were other things before that led to it, but I saw that screenshot of them up 7-3 on the 10-yard line, and my heart sank. I'm like, you score there, it's a different game. So
that's what I just said, too, about the third and one, the Ben Johnson play call.
Yeah, I kind of blocked it out of my brain, but now it's all coming back to me. I was shocked that they started Montgomery on that first drive. Shocked. They gave him 2 carries, and then they 3-0. Why not start Gibbs and let them rip early? Make those defenders second guess everything, but you didn't. I mean, that was a mistake. Not starting Gibbs on that first drive was a mistake. And
coaching.
Not scoring on the second drive, another mistake that could have gone to Gibbs. Listening to the radio, I don't remember who was on it. He was devastated. He was mad. I respected the way he was talking about it. He just thought, this is a game you give Gibbs the ball 30 times. And if you're in that situation, Saquon's going to get that ball for the Eagles as many times as he needs to, right? Gibbs is the same deal. McCaffrey, when he's playing his best, he's going to get 12 catches and 20 carries. Or not 12 catches, but 8 catches, 20 carries. I just think that the game plan was stupid. And I hate to sit here and bash coaches because I'm the first one that'll say, I don't know ball. I'm not paid to do it, so I'm not going to talk on what they're doing. But for me, it's that was obvious. You have the 30th ranked rush defense across from you. You have an offensive line that's banged up. Your quarterback just got smoked. Run the ball. Like, I was screaming pound the rock on the top of my lungs. Like, could not stop because it made no sense to me. And you were right, Adam. Like, Gibbs could have caught 6-7 catches. Last week you said that was the key to the game, like, get him the ball. He caught like 3. And they were for big yardage, so I don't know. I just felt like it was weird.
He had like 70 yards receiving. I mean, he had yeah, I'm with you, and I think that's a good place to wrap this up as we move into talking about the coaching situation. But, yeah, I mean, I think it just came down to we're all on the same page. Goff played a terrible game. The coaches didn't have the team ready, and what it felt like to me is like, okay, it's okay for the three of us to sit on a podcast and feel like overly confident about the Lions going into a game. It's a different story if the coaching staff and the players feel that way. And I'm not saying they did.
It could not have been it.
But it certainly felt that way. It was it felt like it was a lazy game plan on both sides of the ball. And they got punched in the mouth and didn't know how to respond. And what sucks about that is this Lions team, since Dan Campbell took over, first of all, they don't get punched in the mouth. They punch other people in the mouth. And then when they do get punched in the mouth, they find a way to respond. And it just, they didn't have answers. This is the first time in the last 2 seasons that I felt like, man, the Lions have no answers after getting punched in the mouth, and it sucks. So, all right, that was a good vent session. I appreciate you guys letting it all fly there. Let's talk. Let's talk coaches. I know we're getting into this. Let's talk coaches, and I'm going to kick us off here with the Ben Johnson take, okay? Because we're going to go to Ben Johnson to Chicago first. He takes the job. 2 days after they get bounced, it's announced him to Chicago. He's got his staff lined up. He was there today, doing the press conference and all of that. I feel like, and I'm curious to see where you guys land on this, I feel like I have the most common sense take of all time on Ben Johnson. I don't know why people can't understand this. Am I pissed at, if I were Ben Johnson, would I not take a job opportunity and a pay raise and all this stuff because they play in the same division as the Lions? No, I'm going to do what's best for me and my family. And I keep seeing this scenario where it's like, oh, are you not going to go work for a competitor if you get a promotion and a pay raise? Like, no, of course you are. But on the flip side, if you go to your employer and let them know that you're taking a promotion and more money and you're going to work for the direct competitor, your company's going to be pissed at you. It's okay that Lions fans are pissed about this. Yeah. In the same way that it's okay that Ben Johnson went and did what was best for him. Like, I don't understand this take of like, oh, Lions fans are so like toxic and the terrible fan base. Like, no, Ben Johnson just went and took a job, and he is now the head coach of our rivals in the Chicago Bears in division. It's okay to be pissed off if you're a Lions fan. That's my take on it. So, Jet, I want to start with you on this.
Yeah, I've got so many thoughts.
Where you at?
So many thoughts. I've been deep into Twitter. Admin number 4 here. People were saying it's like David Montgomery going to the Lions and like Bears fans weren't mad. It's like, no, you didn't re-sign David Montgomery, you fucking idiots. Like, that was it. I bet you he would have stayed in Chicago for the same amount of money. But the thing with Ben Johnson is, I'm going to preface with this. Ben Johnson brought me the greatest Lions years of my life. Thank you for the last 3 years. Yes, he did. No. Of my life so far, there has never been a better time. Well, he was a part of it, and it was one team, one dream. Okay. So thank you, Ben Johnson, for that. But now I'm going to vent. I was nice that we scored 31 points, but run the fucking ball. That game should have been commanded by us the entire time. No way Jared Goff should be throwing 40 passes in that fucking game. Run the ball, control the clock. That was so poor on his part. Another thing, going to the Bears, that's going to a direct competitor in our division. He had offers from Tom Brady to go to the Raiders. He had offers from any person wanted Ben Johnson. He was the number 1 coaching candidate out of every coordinator available. He did not have to take the Bears job. And I get that there was more money. But I guarantee you there was more money in Vegas. And there was definitely more money at the Cowboys. And so he made the decision because he wanted to work with Caleb Williams, but guess what? That means you also work against the Lions. So, fuck you. I loved you for the last 3 years, but fuck you. You're now my mortal enemy, and I'm not gonna feel bad about hating you now.
Thank
So
you.
that's
Yes.
my thing with Ben.
And you have every right to feel that way. That's and I because I'm with you. I'm pissed off at people saying that Lions fans can't be pissed about this. We can appreciate Ben Johnson and not like hate the person, but hate the fact that, dude, you're on the other side now. You're not a Lion
Yeah.
anymore. You're not over here. You're over there, and we'll see you twice a year. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see Ben twice next year. It's on. So, all right, Stark, let's get your thoughts on this.
All right. Well, my take on Ben Johnson is that he's a nerd and he's not Dan Campbell. And you can do all you want. You can talk a big game. You can go out and say, oh, I'm going to be this great offensive mindset. But something about it, and Joey kind of nailed it, it's the idea that you got to play us 2 times a year. You don't think that these guys are going to be so hungry now to add 2 more games with 2 more reasons to hate an opponent. And if you don't think that we are still holding on to the ace in our – we got the ace, and that's Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes. He's got to go work with Ryan Poles. He's got to go work with that awful offensive line, right? Go for it. Have a great time. I don't wish you any luck. I wish, you can't tell me he had that job that committed to before this game last Saturday, and that if you got that in the back of your head, you're not fully present. You're not. And so I'm excited for a fresh staff. We just let our 2 coordinators were just the top 2 most wanted head coaches in the market. Pat on our back. Give ourselves a pat on the back, because that doesn't just happen. That's a good team, and that's a good program, or that's a good, what do you call it?
Culture. Locker room.
And it's a locker room. It's a culture thing. And he's going to say, oh, I'm going to follow the mold of the Lions and do the same call. You can't, dude, because you don't have Brad Holmes there with you. You don't have Dan Campbell. You're going to have to fire up all these guys on your own this time. And what I think is crazy is that I saw a tweet, Ben Johnson ain't hitting the holes. It's Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Ben Johnson ain't taking the top off the defense. It's Jameson, okay? Ben Johnson ain't out there pancaking all pros. That's Penei Sewell. I can't name one player on that team, and it's not about who they have and who we have. It doesn't matter to me. As long as we have, I've said this for a while, as long as we have Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, I'm going to feel good about things. You have the guy to bring the talent in, and then the guy to motivate and build and strengthen that talent, and we're good. I don't care. This doesn't bother me whatsoever. It pisses me off that he went to the Bears, sure. And the way he's talking and about how, this is where he wanted to be, and thanks to Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. Didn't say anything about the city. Didn't say anything about the fan base here in Detroit. Let's have some bad blood. AG couldn't care less. I think he sucks. He's going to get thrashed, and good luck in New York, dude. He'll last 2 seasons, and he'll be back. He'll come back coaching the D-line or doing something like that. But I don't know, man. I couldn't care less about it. I want a new young core that's, committed. Remember, I saw doing some facts, seeing if, who are the most disloyal coaches in NFL history? Has this ever happened before where a guy just jumps ship and leaves and goes to the rival? And I read this article about how Belichick, refused to hire guys if he didn't think they were going to be loyal to him. And that if they were going to make a move, it was very well mutual, and they knew it was going to happen. He wouldn't just jump ship and leave. And I don't know if that stayed true, but we have a dynasty building here in Detroit. They are hoping to start a dynasty in Chicago. I'll take where we're at all day long. Good riddance. That last game leaves me with such a sour taste in my mouth. I don't give a shit where he goes, because I'm done with the cute shit. Give me 2 trick plays a year, and let's pound the rock the next 2 years. I'm sorry, but
yeah,
that's my take. He's a nerd.
Yeah, and so, all right, couple things I want to put here. I mean, we're not going to spend too much time talking about Glenn, because I think we're all in agreement. I think Glenn, to be honest, Glenn might be a better head coach than he was a defensive coordinator, right? Glenn was going to run his system, and when it's not working, he's not going to make adjustments. And when he loses players, he's not going to make adjustments. I think we're all ready for a fresh start on the defensive side of the ball. Ben Johnson obviously hurts a little bit more. But I want to bring up, and I've got this quote that I want to bring up, and it's from the one coordinator that the Lions didn't lose. is Mr. Dave Phipp. I don't know how much our listeners know about Dave Phipp, but he is our special teams coordinator, and he's a
I like
dog.
this guy.
Love
Is
this
the guy
guy.
that made that locker room speech?
Yes, and this is what he said in the locker room. This game's about effing players, man. And we got a lot of players in this effing locker room. And that's the quote that I want to put out there. Because, to Stark's point, people acting like the sky is falling because we're losing Ben Johnson and we're losing Aaron Glenn. It's like, no, they're not on the field. Part of the reason Ben Johnson had the success that he had in Detroit, the biggest part of that is the offensive line that he had. The quarterback he had. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jameson Williams. It's this idea that the offense was the machine that they were because of Ben Johnson is just not true. At the end of the day, the players got to go out and play. And this is, from top to bottom, a top 3 roster in the NFL, and it will be again going into next season. So part of me is really excited, and this is where we're going to switch over to talk about some names. It's new beginnings. We've got new coordinators on both sides of the ball. We don't know who they're going to be yet. Are they going to go internal? Are they going to go external? Let's start on the offensive side of the ball. Joey, give us a name. What direction do you think they go in? Do you want me to kick this off? I will.
No, I had a question for Stark.
Okay, go ahead.
Who's who again? Who'd you compare Ben Johnson to?
Was it Rob Marinelli?
Yes.
No, but the other one. Was it Mike McDaniel? Okay. Because, it's funny, my mind was in a similar place, but I was thinking Josh McDaniel.
No.
Because Josh McDaniel was
He's
the
back.
OC for the Patriots.
Yep.
He went, and he was nothing, and
No.
then he came back, and I would
He's there
actually
again.
love for I would love for that as, a Lions fan.
I got one more take. I forgot to say. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying I want him to fail and then come back.
And then come back to Detroit, come
You
home.
know, my last thing with this is like, how many years has Dan Campbell been a head coach?
3.
5? 3?
4.
4. First of all, I'm gonna make
Yeah,
two
just
things
finished
here.
his 4th.
Maybe the most impressive turnaround in a 4-year swing of any coaching career. Maybe I have to look into it, but he picked up a team that was 3-14.
No, they went. Well, yes, and then they went 3-13-1 his first year. Then they went 9-8. Then they went 12-5, and then they went 15-2. Yeah.
That's improvement every year under your head coach. This is a coach that's only been coaching for 4 years. Andy Reid's been doing this since he was in the league playing for the Lions. Some of these guys that are awesome veteran coaches have been doing it for 40 years. They learn from these awful days. And if you don't think Dan Campbell's going to be better because of all this shit, he will, 100%. He's not a vet. He's still a rookie coach.
Yeah.
You see guys that are getting more of a leash than he is, and he's done what no one in our lifetimes that I can think of was able to do, just come in and flip something this fast. And obviously it's not all him, it's Brad Holmes too, but I like to point out that, if anyone is that mad, I don't blame Dan Campbell for anything last week. Maybe the timeout on the 12-man, maybe that, but you ever think he won't call a timeout again in that situation? I guarantee you he'll learn from that, and that's something to think about. He's not been doing this for very long, and he's gotten better every year, and so has the team, and so has everything around him, so...
Yeah. No,
I
it's
don't think that's due to Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. That growth and that culture shift, that's a Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes thing.
Yeah, it's an important thing. It's an important thing. There's one. Dan Campbell is a one of one, and he is the head coach of the Detroit Lions, and he is the one that has built the Lions into what they are today. I think people. This is something that I want to say quickly, and I think you guys will agree with me. Just Dan Campbell's personality and the way that he acts in press conferences, I think too many people think he's just like a stupid meathead and his coordinators do everything and he's just there to give hypes, pump-up speeches in the locker room. No. The dude really knows his X's and O's. He works really hard. He knows how to build a culture. He knows how to get the best out of his players, and he understands the game of football. He is what makes this thing go, not the coordinators. So, no, I completely agree. And then you still got Brad. Brad Holmes is going to be Brad Holmes. So I have all the faith in the world in the Lions going into next year. I'm excited. Jet, kick us off on the offensive side of the ball. What direction do you think they go? Give us a name.
God. So there's, the dream and maybe a little bit closer to reality. And I don't know as much about who I want at OC as I do DC, but obviously my dream scenario is we throw Hank Fraley the bag and he doesn't go to the Seahawks and he sticks around and we build our culture around, because I don't know if you guys saw what Dan said. He was looking at his coordinators. He wants, the same, keep the locker room the same and keep it all about, grit and keep the culture the same. That's really what I was looking to say. But so Hank Fraley's the dream if he stays. And then Scotty Montgomery, is he supposed to go somewhere else?
No, he's actually a hot name being rumored for the Lions OC position, yeah.
I read that he was supposed to be our OC, and Ben Johnson actually got the job, but he was made, assistant head coach and running backs coach. So once again, I just want to promote from within. I'd rather not go outside for OC. Do you want to go on DC now too, or do you just want to stick
give
to
us
OC
both.
right now?
Give us both. Just quick name on offense, and then defense as well.
DC, I think I think I said this at the beginning of the season or whenever Aaron Glenn first was rumored to possibly be leaving. Salah's like the no-brainer. I want him bad. I know he's working on the Packers staff right now, but it's not like a big role. I think he would jump at the opportunity to come be DC for the Lions. But sometimes those things that seem too obvious never work out. It's like, oh, this would be the perfect fit. And I don't know, something just might not work. So my backup would be, I believe his name's Jim Leonard. He's the cornerbacks coach for the Denver Broncos. And I saw
the
his
old
name
Wisco guy.
Is he?
You're right, yeah, the old DC for your Wisconsin Badgers under Paul Chris, yeah.
So I would like him if we don't get Salah.
Okay. That's a name that I have not thought about at all. That's really interesting. I like that. So, okay, I'll go really quick here. My take is this. I'm in complete agreement with you. I want internal on the offensive side of the ball. You have a well-oiled machine. We need continuity. The last thing we need is a brand new playbook and a brand new scheme coming in on the offensive side of the ball. So promote internally. On the defensive side of the ball, we're on the same page. I would like an outside hire. I really like Kelvin Shepard, and he's being rumored as a potential promotion. And who knows, maybe it works out really well. But here's why I want an outside hire. I don't necessarily think Dan's going to do it, though, because Dan said he wants to keep the same principles, still play a lot of man. I would like a new scheme. I don't want to run engage 80% of the time, blitz 80% of the time, play single-man coverage in the back. Because as we've seen, we've just gotten gashed in 2 straight playoffs with this scheme that we're running. So Salah, where I think Salah might not be a good fit is he likes to play a lot of zone. He mixes up his defenses a lot. Dan wants to play more man. I don't know. Salah would be the dream. I would really like Salah. Shepard is another name if they decide to go within. But if Salah doesn't get a head coaching position, I just feel like it makes a lot of sense. And I think that we could see that. So that would be my dream. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, I said I wanted to go internal. One of the things that I'm just going to say, I'm not going to necessarily give names, but one of the things to keep an eye on is if they do decide to go external. We kind of are seeing this wave in college football of high-profile coaches just not enjoying the job anymore with the NIL, with the portal. So I think if they were to go external for
Don't
OC.
you say it.
Saban.
No. He's thinking somebody from the SIP?
No, I'm not actually.
Oh.
I'm thinking a guy who's on the hot seat at his university who I don't think likes his life, who has flirted with the NFL time in and time out. And you talk about a potential springboard to a head coaching job in the NFL, being the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions. I'm talking about Lincoln Riley.
Wow.
That's my outside name. I don't have anything to tell me.
That would be Adam.
Now, I also have to give credit. I didn't think about this. Ty and I had this conversation on live the other night. So shout out Rebel at Ty. Ty threw this out. And I absolutely love this take of a high profile head coach in college football potentially making the jump.
I don't like that. I love it. Also,
shout out Rebel at Ty.
We have Caleb Williams' brain in a little jar if we got Lincoln Riley too.
I hadn't gotten there. I hadn't even thought about that yet. Stark, can you top that?
No.
Can you top that?
Les Miles and give me 2 Les Miles. One on each end of the ball.
What about Coach O?
At Orgeron.
If we're going in-house, I like the Scotty Montgomery, Kelvin Shepard. I like Salah as the outside hire for the intensity. That's it. That's all I got. I don't really care that much about coaches other than Dan Campbell. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what direction they go. Dan said he's not in a rush. One thing, and I know, we all work, and if I don't have as long as I don't have a meeting, I'll have it on in the background. But tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., Brad Holmes, end of season presser. It's probably going to be an hour. Going to be very interesting. So tune in if you guys get a chance to do that. I think we'll learn a lot about kind of what that timeline looks like, and maybe what are some names that we should be keeping an eye on. So, all right, fellas. I'm vented out. I feel like I got everything I needed to say out there. How are you guys feeling? Better? Worse?
No. I feel better. I do. I think you need to care a little bit more about the coordinator start because it gives you something to think about. Not that not like I'm not trying to change your opinion on it mattering, but it is something fun to think about. Like if we actually got Lincoln Riley as a coordinator, I'd be like, oh, dude, we're about to have the best offense.
Can I give you guys one more funny, crazy name?
Wink.
It's on the defensive side of the ball.
Jesse Minter.
He has a son who is on the Lions coaching staff. He's a big name.
Bill Belichick.
Rex Ryan.
Ew.
I would like Rex Ryan.
Ew.
Yeah. What about his brother too? Bring them both into town. I want the Jesus.
His brother, his potential. So I just saying. I think here's the one thing about Dan.
We got Teddy Bridgewater, offensive coordinator.
I've heard that.
Would be hype. I just made that up. I don't know.
I've legitly have heard that. I don't think I would like it. I think one thing that's really important with Dan is he wants somebody who's kind of like he likes to hire coaches who have been there, done that, right, and who have some pedigree. And Ben Johnson was a no-name coach, but Ben Johnson was a quarterback. He played football. He had worked with Dan Campbell. He'd been in the league for a while.
He was with him on the Dolphins, right?
Correct.
What about
yeah.
Deuce
So
Staley?
Deuce, I kind of lost I lost some respect for Deuce, but I don't even know where he's
Carolina?
at. He's somewhere. Yeah, he went to Carolina and then he got fired. I don't know where he's at now. But
Yeah.
All right, fellas, let's get into the fun part of the episode.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. So for the listeners out there, if you've been following all season, we have had a season-long pick-a-thon going on where we pick 5 college games a week, 5 NFL games a week. And as you get to the end of the season, whoever the loser was, overall win percentage and record, was going to have a punishment. Well, I will announce we finished the college football season. Joey and I deadlocked 47-33. Pretty solid, Joey. Give yourself a round of applause. I mean, look, we weren't betting all of these games. We were taking the top 5 games of the week and picking against them, so this was tough. 14 games above 500. Stark also had a great year. Stark finished 43-37, but that's last place. Now, it's cumulative, so it's college and NFL added together. So let's go over to the NFL. There's still some games left to be picked. I'm currently in the lead in the NFL, 41-32. Joey's one game behind me at 40-33. And unfortunately, Stark is also in last place in the NFL. So Stark's got a punishment. And here's what we decided to do. I'm going to suggest a punishment, and Joey is going to suggest a punishment. And he has to pick one of these punishments, which will be on camera. We'll have proof of it, for getting last place in the picks. So without further ado, Joey, I want you to go first. What is option one?
I brought mine up in the past. I don't know why. I think this is so funny. I want a Drew Walls TikTok. I want you going. You can choose whatever you want to do, whatever store you want to go to. I recommend you have Kennedy help you out for production aspects, but you have to film your daily routine of going to the store, getting something, and like preparing something after. I'll send you some examples of Drew Walls.
All right. That's option one. That's option one.
And I know option two. I think you'll like option one better.
All right, here comes option two. For option two, Stark, you go to a Red Wings game.
Nice. Good start.
We're starting good. But you have to wear a clip-on tail that we buy for you for the entirety of the night at the game.
Dude. I'm going with my dad tomorrow. I don't think he would disown me if I wore a tail.
No, look, it doesn't have to be with your dad. Jet will probably be there.
I will be there.
I don't think I can wear a tail. I think I gotta do the other one. I think
you would look so good with a tail.
You don't want like a clip-on foxtail hanging out the back of your wings jersey?
Self-conscious I'd be. I would be literally walking around and be like, I lost the bet. I'll let you guys know.
All right, Stark's going to sleep on it, and he'll make an announcement.
They're very interesting and unique. But.
We're putting up just I'm curious what the people are going to want. I'm going to put a poll up on Instagram and just see what the people want you to do as well.
What if I eat like everything on the McDonald's menu? Can I do?
No. These are your two options.
That would be a win.
That's a win.
These are your two options. So, all right, if you're listening, please drop in the comments and give us your vote. What should Stark pick? Should he go option one, where he has to recreate a Drew Walls video? Or option two, he gets to go enjoy a Wings game, but he has to wear a clip-on foxtail?
I would say I'd let him vote, but I know what they vote for,
tail.
so I'm going to decide.
Yeah, it can be a raccoon tail. I mean, you get to pick the tail. We will buy it, and you pick it
the entire time.
It'll be uncomfortable while you're sitting.
Hey, let's go grab some beers. Come on.
No.
It's just
we're
the most
going to the
intense
casino,
game ever.
And your tail's going to be hanging out the back of the chair at MGM.
What if I go off and I have to wear a tail every time I go to the casino?
This could be good luck. So, all right,
man.
think on it.
Just give me a full
Sleep on it.
costume.
Think on it. We'll get it figured out. So, all right. We've only got 2 games to pick this weekend. And, Joey, you and I are like, it's tight. It's a tight race on NFL. So, all right, conference championship weekend. Let's start with the NFC championship. I cannot believe that we're not picking the Lions. Washington at Philly. This line is all the way up to Philly minus 6.5. Jet, kick us off. Who you got? I'll go first on the second game.
No, it doesn't matter about that. It's heart and brain fighting here because brain's just being like, dude, Eagles are gonna fuck them up. Like they actually have a much better defense than us, and I do think that Saquon's gonna run all over them. But heart is saying we ran into a juggernaut. The hot train of the Commanders cannot doubt them. And you know what? I'm gonna go with heart. I'm gonna go with heart, and I'm gonna say justify the Lions' loss. We ran into a fucking juggernaut of the Commanders, and they are a team of destiny.
All right. Jets go in Washington. I swear to you, I went the same direction as you because, look, Washington has played in close games all year long. And they might not win this game, but they're like a cockroach. They just won't go away in these games.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Washington plus 6.5. Stark, I feel like you're also there, but
No, I'm going the Eagles. I think they're a buzzsaw, and I think they'll do what we should have done, and that is pound the rock with Saquon. And they have an aspect that we don't have, and that's a quarterback that can move. I'm taking the Eagles. I think it's big. I do think the Eagles have an amazing defense, too. Shout out to their GM. The only one in the league right now who I'd say is on the same level as Holmes in terms of success, because goodness gracious, they have a lot of dogs on that. No pun intended.
And they're
they
young.
They do have a lot of dogs. Like
Georgia dogs.
But it is different. I think the Lions losing was the best thing that could have happened to them, because I think we match up against them worse. Because they don't throw the ball that well. I don't think Hurts is that great of a throwing quarterback. If we can hone in on the run. But I'm going to take the Eagles. I think Washington has a little bit of a letdown spot. I love the team. I love Jaden Daniels. I think he's him. Watching him in person solidified. I will be keeping him in fantasy next year. But I just think the Eagles are too much to handle. What we did not have, they do have. And I don't think they're going to put up 45. And if they don't, they won't win this game.
All right. Stark on the Eagles. Joey and I went with the heart there. All right, big game in Arrowhead. Taylor Swift in attendance.
Ooh.
Patty versus Josh, round 2 in the AFC Championship. We know what happened last time. Maybe the game of the century, the last time these guys played in the AFC Championship. Kansas City laying 1.5 here. I will go first. I don't care about my record or my brain. I'm strictly going heart. I refuse to watch another Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in it. And I have become a bit of a Josh Allen and a Bills fan this year. So give me Buffalo. And I just think, let me give you some, other than this is what I want to happen, just some football knowledge behind this. Look, the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and I know Patrick Mahomes is that dude. But at some point, it's got to catch up to you. And this is kind of what happened with the Lions, right? At some point, those injuries had to catch up with the Lions. Squeaking out these games and this like witchcraft voodoo that they do to block kicks and get penalties and do this and just find ways to win games against bad teams. You're playing Josh Allen. Buffalo is playing really good football right now, and Buffalo is the better football team. So I'm going Buffalo. Jet?
So I'm going to stick with the heart plays because Brain is saying something else here. Brain is screaming, Josh Allen. He's a juggernaut. But the heart, and I'll explain the heart because you probably didn't think the heart was on the Chiefs. I need the Chiefs to win this Super Bowl, so that way it can be like, oh, it was just another year of the Chiefs. It was always going to be the Chiefs, and then it wasn't the Lions Super Bowl to lose. Because if the Commanders win the Super Bowl or the Eagles win the Super Bowl, it should have been the Lions. And I'm just it's Lions brain telling me need the Chiefs to win, so that way. Because if we would have played Buffalo again, I think it's a whole different story. I hope that Aaron Glenn could have learned from his mistakes, but now do I give a fuck? No. But I really do think we beat every team that we play. So I just need the Chiefs to win so that I can have that in the back of my head. Like, it was just the Chiefs. They were always going to win.
Love the take. Absolutely love the take.
Too.
Stark, what side you on?
Say, the idea of the Chiefs win again, it's like these gosh darn same teams that can't beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
We need a new team to come in and beat the Chiefs. What's the spread?
1.5. KC's laying it. Essentially a pick 'em.
City.
And who do they play?
I'm going to take Kansas City. I just think they're built for this.
Yeah. All right.
In all honesty, their offense is probably the best it's been all season. Worthy's looking good. Kelsey's back. Kareem Hunt's pretty good, but I'm
DeMar
okay on this.
Hamlin.
Like I want
Yeah,
I want
it's a good take.
them to win.
It's actually a really good take, and you might. Now I'm actually cool if the Chiefs win because of what you just said. So thank you.
Think about if it's Commanders Bills and they're like, oh, one of these franchises is going to win a Super Bowl for the first time in so long. Like, have the Commanders ever won one?
Yeah,
Not with that.
Yeah.
I'm with
Yeah,
you
no.
on this, Joey. I want the Chiefs.
This is a great take. Everybody, if the Lions fans can't be happy, nobody can be happy.
Yes, give it to the devil. Give it
Yeah.
to the devil. He wins
And-
again.
I agree.
You know what? And you know what really sucks is, but this is a better storyline. The storyline that I prayed for was the Lions stop the Kansas City three-peat. They're the
Yes,
heroes.
Yeah.
And they stopped the three-peat. The Lions are stopping the four-peat, fellas.
Yeah.
That's what the script is.
You know what else to think about too, boys? We're gonna
Yeah.
be able to watch Aiden Hutchinson next year again.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like no one's talking about that anymore. Like, goodness gracious, what a difference that makes. Like,
Hutch, Jack Sawyer.
I would love it. I would absolutely love that.
Give me Josiah Stewart over Jack Sawyer any day of the week.
Tennessee guy.
No, Josiah's a Michigan guy.
I want Kenneth Grant.
Yeah, I mean, Kenneth Grant will not be on the board at 28.
Straight
Neither
up.
will Mason Graham. But
Straight up.
So, all right, I got two things before we hop off here. First and foremost, I have to issue an apology to Mr. Nick Virgos, Dr.
Yep.
Virgos.
Dr.
We did a
Virg.
live stream this week, and I didn't have the chat up. Me and Ty were just talking, and I wasn't paying attention to the chat. So I didn't see his messages, and I heard that he was pretty upset about that. So, Dr. Virgos, I'm sorry. I hope you'll listen again. I didn't
get it
mean
back.
any harm there, all right?
We'll get it back.
Second thing, I just want to paint a little picture for you guys. 2021. Michigan football. Not a lot of expectation. They upset Ohio State. They get into the playoff, but no real expectations, and they end up losing to Georgia. The next year, they have a great season. They get to the playoffs. They're double-digit favorites in the playoffs against TCU. They get upset. Well, they got a little cute that year with some of the play calling, some of the things that they were doing got exposed a little bit. Well, it was all business the following year. And they came out and ran the table and won the national championship. Now, there's a local team here that last year was a little bit of an underdog story. Upset some teams, got deep in the playoffs, lost, but it was like, you know what? They made it this far. We're pretty happy with it. This year, double-digit favorites, almost double-digit favorites in the playoffs, and they get upset trying to get too cute with it. Next year, the Lions are all business and win the Super Bowl. Just want to give some hope. Joey, I know that makes you feel great.
Listen, I have a couple things I want to say to that, but I'll let Stark speak first.
I was going to say, man, I think it was 2018. I'm sitting at the bar at a golf course with my dad's friends. I look at them. They're bashing the Lions. They hate the Lions. And I vividly remember looking at these guys and saying, I will
Bless
bet you $50 that in the next 4 to 5 years, this team will be different and they'll be in the playoffs. Guess what happened last week at Mahagee? I was acknowledged for it. And one of the guys said, remember, years ago when we were at the bar and you said, I just want to say, been around for a long time as a Lions fan. We've been through the worst of it. There's always light at the end of a tunnel because we're out of the tunnel now. And so right now, I truly think, the window's not closed. It's just opening. This drives us moving forward. You can't lose hope. If there's any fans out there right now that are down on the team, F you. I'm not going to swear. Get lost. Find a different team. And then the last thing I'll say is I was at the Lions game the other day. Got into it a little bit with the Washington fan. May or may not have done security. I tried to get him kicked out. What pisses me off most about that game is I'm sitting there listening to probably guys my age in front of us saying, "Thank God I bet on Washington. I'm so happy I bet on Washington." If you are a person that emotionally hedges games, you are not
Loser.
a fan. You are
Loser.
not a fan. I don't care what you say. You're not a fan. It was the most annoying thing. I wish I would have said something to him. He was bragging about it. He's like, yeah, it sucks, but at least I won my bet. And I'm like, no, just so annoying. Sorry. Had to get that off my chest.
All good. No, I like it. Way to give us some hope. Jet, you had one thing you wanted to say, and then so take us home.
I promise I'll make it quick, but I think it's 3 things I wanted to say.
Okay, go ahead.
1, I've just got to bring it up again. I still have nightmares of Mikey Sanders still.
You called it, by the way. He had 2 picks.
You guys stop predicting things that hurt us.
Yeah. 2, I believe what you were trying to lay out there for us is one of our coordinators will be Connor Stallions next year. I don't know if he's a specialist, but would love to see him on the staff. And 3, the Lions' loss was not on coaching. The Lions' loss was not on the players. It was simply on me.
You what?
I owed the Lions 40 wings from Applebee's, and I never ate them.
Joey.
And I think that could be the reason that we lost.
China.
So, I'm going to Florida all next week. I'm going to be soaking up the sun, working up an appetite, a ferocious appetite. Spencer
You have
Stark,
to.
when I get back, would you join me at Applebee's Saturday night for 40 wings?
Yes.
All right.
Hold on a second.
I might have
No.
said I'll do it too.
This is what we're doing. Hold on a second. I am back in Michigan in about 3 weeks. Can you work up an appetite for 3 weeks?
I always have an appetite.
Okay, because the 3 of us, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this right. And the 3 of us are gonna go out to Applebee's, and we're gonna house 120 wings, and we're gonna live stream it, and we are going to live stream it, and this is going to be what kicks off a great off season into a Super Bowl run next year for the Lions. And you're welcome.
Yes.
To the listeners, you're welcome. We are gonna do this for you guys.
I have one more thing. Costco chicken bake is disgusting, and I don't know how any person could eat one of those. Tried it the other day. Inhumane. Sorry, had to get that off my chest. Chicken bake,
All good.
disgusting.
It's good to know because I was thinking about trying one. So
Don't gross.
double chunk chocolate cookie guy, I guess. So, all right, guys. We hope Lions fans this made you feel a little bit better. Maybe it got you more worked up, but it was good to just vent and get it all out there. And we'll see you guys back next week. We're going to, we've got some exciting things coming up. We won't announce it quite yet, but another jersey giveaway at some point here in the very near future. And make sure you guys are subscribed, follow us on social media, and we'll talk with you guys soon.
Happy inauguration.